So for any historians of the Synthetic Sports channel, you might recall we made a video with basically the exact same title 1 year ago, and with Super Bowl 59 being this weekend, look, it's gonna be a good game. If it's anything like the last time these two played in the Super Bowl, it's gonna be a good game. But it really does feel like for the second straight year, it's the two teams that really people didn't really want to see play each other.
I mean, you have the Chiefs, who people are just tired of at this point, and that makes sense. And then you have the Eagles with their just annoying ass fan base. You know, I'm gonna enjoy the food, enjoy the game, it's gonna be a good time, but I don't want to see either of these teams win.
Before we start talking about Super Bowl 59, if you haven't already, make sure you leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. But first, a word from the sponsor of today's video, DraftKings. Guys, Super Bowl 59 is here, and to mark the occasion of the biggest football game of the year, we've partnered with DraftKings. DraftKings is an official partner of the NFL, and to celebrate Super Bowl 59, right now they are offering $200 in bonus bets instantly to new customers when they bet only $5. And you can use your $200 in bonus bets on same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. What's that? DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in every state? Well, that's not a problem. You can still join in on the fun with DraftKings daily fantasy games and have your shot at cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use our promo code synthetic and get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Once again, that's $200 in bonus bets when you use our promo code synthetic and bet just $5. And thank you again to DraftKings for sponsoring today's video. Yeah, so like I said, if this Super Bowl is anything like the last time these two played, it's going to be an enjoyable experience. Like Super Bowl 57 was a pretty great game. Philadelphia led by 10 at halftime, but Mahomes did what Mahomes does, brings the Chiefs back. They take an 8-point lead off a Sky Moore touchdown, but Philly drives back down the field thanks to a deep bomb to Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts runs for a touchdown, then runs for a 2-point conversion to tie up the game, but Kansas City drives down the field, benefits from a dubious holding call, kicks a field goal with only 8 seconds left, and then Jalen Hurts becomes a meme forever when he's trying to throw the ball to the end zone and he ends up throwing it to like the 20-yard line. I will say, in fairness to him, he launched it from like the 30. So did I really expect it to get to the goal line? I mean, that's throwing the ball 70 yards. But the fact that it just very lamely landed at like the 20, and that's the end of the Super Bowl.
I mean, regardless, it's funny. I did hear Eagles fans also say it looks like he stepped on Jason Kelce's foot. So there's got to be something there, because that dude is strong as hell. Like,
the dude could squat 600 pounds. Yeah. He's got to be able to throw the ball further than 50 yards.
Yeah, I'd imagine either way. So now, 2 years later, same teams trying for the Super Bowl. You got the Chiefs going for their third straight. We just made the video on that situation. Possibly the first three-peat in the Super Bowl era. And then you have the Eagles trying to win their first Super Bowl since 2018. But for like a lot of neutrals like us, like, we just want to see like a meteor hit. Can Bane come in and blow up the stadium?
like in the Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
Yeah, look, we're still going to watch it, obviously, and it's going to be a massive draw. Like, for all the bitching and moaning we did last year about Chiefs 49ers, that only ended up being the most watched Super Bowl in history. So, what the fuck do we know? I'm sure the league office is celebrating at a matchup like this, but man, it would have been so fun to see Buffalo finally get over the hump, or for Jaden Daniels to lead the Commanders all the way to the Super Bowl in his rookie year. So, all are, complaining out of the way, because it is going to be a good game, and we are excited about it. Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, won the last two Super Bowls, both close, both basically came down to the last play of the game. It is really interesting, though, how for a lot of the year, the narrative around this team was like, oh, Mahomes isn't playing that well. Maybe this is the worst team of the Mahomes era. And they only end up going 15-1 in games they played their starters. And they're back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, they didn't look as strong. Every game was close, even against teams like the Raiders. Like, they're in dogfights to beat them, but they just find a way to win. And we talked about it again in the last three-peat video. What's so impressive about them is how they've transcended their team over the course of this dynasty. Like, you look at the early years, they were consistently one of the top 5 offensive teams in the NFL. They led the league in yards in 2018, 2020, 2022. This year, they haven't been that. Like you said, Mahomes statistically, maybe having the worst season of his career. The offense as a whole, kind of just middle of the pack. But the defense is really solid. 9th in the NFL in yards per game, 4th in points per game. They have a really good run defense. Weirdly enough, though, most of their Pro Bowlers have been on the offensive side of the ball. You had 3 linemen in Kelce and then only 1 defensive Pro Bowler. Of course, it's Chris Jones. You had some alternates like Trent McDuffie, but I mean, Drake May was a fucking alternate.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we really counting that?
Or not? I mean, McDuffie should have made it proper.
Yeah.
But like the Chiefs this season, it almost feels like they're treated like a big time college team where it's like winning's not enough. You got to win by multiple scores. And that was the thing. It's just like, oh, this team is, they're winning, but they're winning close. It's like, it's the fucking NFL. It's not college. Like winning close is fine. And like the biggest thing you could say about the Chiefs is like situationally, there's nobody better in all of football. I mean, 17 straight 1 possession wins, like that goes beyond luck. At that point, you're just the more prepared team. You're the better executing team. I still do think someone in that organization is practicing dark magic, but you know what? I'm going to go with what I can prove for now. I mean, come on, the fountains in downtown Kansas City were turning blood, right? Okay, we'll leave it for now.
Right.
But like Patrick Mahomes, when was the last time he made like a big mistake in a big game?
Yeah, I guess you could say 2021 AFC Championship game in overtime, he throws that pick, but honestly, it was a pretty good ball.
Yeah.
It basically hits Tyreek Hill in the hands. Jesse Bates just makes an unbelievable play. And I know some people say they get favorable ref treatment, and honestly, they do, but he's made some crazy ass plays. Like the flopping was annoying against the Texans. That shit is out of control, but dude's making like diving passes to score touchdowns.
Dude's about to faceplant and just flicks it to Kelce in the end zone.
Yeah, out of nowhere in the AFC Championship game, dude turns into a runner when it's needed. Like, dude just does whatever is needed to win these games.
So yeah, I mean, they got a great defense, got the best coach and QB in the league, and even though their offense isn't explosive as it has been in recent years, I mean, 1 possession game, you can trust the Chiefs more than anybody. And even then, on the offensive end, like, they're making it work with Juju, old DeAndre Hopkins, brought back Kareem Hunt. I mean, candidly, they have proven they don't need like Tyreek Hill anymore. They could just get it done with what they have.
And now you got Philadelphia. They're hungry to end this streak. As good as Kansas City's defense has been this year, Philly's has been better. They gave up the fewest yards in the NFL this season, surrendering 278 yards per game. Next highest was 310 per game, so really elite here. Led the league in passing defense, only second behind the Chargers in opponents' points per game. On top of that, Brandon Graham may be coming back. I don't know what role he'd really be playing, maybe just every once in a while, but he was big in that Super Bowl win they had over the Patriots. And apparently he's been talking mad shit in practice. So
he's coming back and played a couple snaps.
Yeah, at least boosting team morale there.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith have been on a tear this postseason. And I mean, if the Chiefs ride with Mike Caliendo at guard, he's been getting eaten alive. Like I saw something like in his last 4 games, like he had like a 38 grade from PFF, which if that was over an entire season, he'd be great as the 2nd worst guard in the league. So, I mean, the last time the Chiefs lost a Super Bowl, what was the problem? It was Mahomes was running for his life because the offensive line was compromised. So, maybe something to look out there. But the biggest difference with this Eagles team from the last time they played, it's Saquon Barkley. No disrespect to Miles Sanders, even though he played fucking terribly in the last Super Bowl. He was a pretty good back for them. He's not Saquon. I mean, Saquon just had one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a running back. And in the playoffs, it's been more of the same. 119 against Green Bay, 205 against the Rams in the snow, 118 against Washington. Dude's just a game wrecker on the offensive end.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point because in the Super Bowl, they couldn't run the football. Jalen Hurts had like 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he did his job on the ground, but then basically no one else did anything. And when it comes to Jalen Hurts, like I think he's been pretty good this season. He's just more of like, a game manager. He's not Lamar. He's not Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen, but he's going to score touchdowns on the ground. He's going to make the right plays. He rarely turns the ball over. Like he's gotten some flack. There was the whole issue with AJ Brown and him, the drama there. And they're not a very good passing team. And there's going to be moments during the Super Bowl. If the Eagles are going to win, he's going to have to make some throws, but they're a running football team.
Yeah.
They got Saquon. They got a great offensive line. They got the tush push. Jalen Hurts can break out for a run. We'll see if the knee's healthy, but if he's 100% healthy, he can break out like 18 passing touchdowns, 14 rushing touchdowns, 32 touchdowns to 7 turnovers on the season. Dude's done a fantastic job at what he's needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're a running football team. Like they have the best running back in the league. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and they got a quarterback who can run the football. And like Hurts obviously is not the best thrower of the ball. Like he's not a Mahomes, he's not a Josh Allen, he's not a Burrow, he's not of Lamar. Like, he can't throw the ball like those guys. So if you don't need him to put the ball in harm's way, why throw? Like, why throw just to throw, you know? Again, this is not college. Like, you're not going to the playoffs based on how you look in like the committee's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Just win games. It doesn't matter by how much. I think a lot of it is coming from like fans of the Bills or the Bengals or the Ravens because, you know, Burrow and Allen and Lamar have to do so much for those teams, and they'll be like, oh, look at Jalen Hurts, you know, with Saquon and that great offensive line, all those weapons. Like, I mean, it's kind of like how we hate on Steph forever because he always had the great teams and Dave never did. So, you know, I get it on some level, but football's different than basketball.
And even if he does need to make some throws, like he made some throws in the last Super Bowl, still got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon can catch the ball. Like, the weapons are there and he might need to make some. I think he's capable of doing that. Now, who wins the game? Who do you want and who are you picking?
Well, who do I want is I want the Eagles because as much I don't like the Eagles fan base, just like you. They're not all bad apples, but they're at least 50% bad apples,
Right.
okay? Like, if you look at all the fan bases in the league, the Eagles have the most bad apples. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I'm rooting for the Eagles though because I'm rooting for Saquon. You know, I love a good comeback story, a good like sticking it to your former employer story, or even like your current employer, because that's why I was rooting so hard for Lamar when he was coming off that big contract situation, or Jared Goff after the Rams dumped him last year. And the way the Giants basically just were like, we're not going to negotiate with Saquon, like we don't think you're worth it to bring back at that age as a running back. And he goes on, he has this amazing season with the Eagles. Again, one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a running back, gets them all the way to the Super Bowl. I would love nothing more than to see him rush for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, win Super Bowl MVP, and just stick it in the Giants' face. I don't have anything against the Giants, by the way. I just would love to see him do this.
Fair.
That being said, Kansas City is winning.
Yeah, I want the Chiefs, and I'm picking the Chiefs first. Like, I used to not mind the Eagles. I always heard awful things about the fan base, never really saw any videos, so I was like, whatever. This playoffs, the fan base has been out of pocket. There was the guy just saying ridiculous stuff to that one woman. They were harassing that Commanders fans. I'm so over this fan base, so I want the Chiefs. I don't really have a problem with the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of them, but whatever. Don't really hate them. And like, everything wants me to say the Eagles should win. Better defense, running game. They've looked like the better team. Probably even should have won the last Super Bowl, but it's the same thing with the Patriots. There's a lot of Super Bowls they should have lost.
Yeah.
It felt like the better teams, the better rosters were there, but you got Mahomes, you got Andy Reid. That's what it takes to win Super Bowls. You got the best quarterback, you got the best coach. They're going to do it again. The three-peat's happening.
Yeah, I tend to agree. That's the video, guys. Who do you think wins Super Bowl 59? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.